As I'm sure most of you have heard by now, there's some turmoil in Vancouver. JT Miller and Elias Pettersson aren't the biggest fans of each other.
You were my brother.
JT.
I loved you. I hate you.
So in order to bring the Canucks team back together, one of these guys has to be traded, and it sounds like it'll most likely be Miller. Pettersson has asked to stay, and there's been a lot more rumors about, JT being on the move. So I thought it'd be fun to see what it costs every single NHL team to trade for him in-game. As you guys can see in-game here, 90 overall, elite potential. He's 31, so the potential kind of irrelevant. He's making $8 million there for the next 6 years. You guys can see all his stats. Former 15th overall pick. Tons of X factors. Of course, looking at his stats, he's coming off a 103-point season. Like, that should not be overlooked. The dude cannot be had for, pennies on the dollar. Speaking of, it's kind of funny. The Rangers have already thrown out a couple lowball offers. One was Zibanejad 1-for-1, which apparently Zibanejad didn't want to do. Plus, I don't think that was enough for Miller. They've also offered Philip Hiddle, a first-round pick, and a prospect. I think that's also a bit of a lowball offer. As again, guys, he's coming off a 103-point season. The year before that, he was point per game. The year before that, one shy of 100. You can see with Canucks, he's been very good. Tampa Bay Lightning there had some solid seasons. The Rangers as well, used to play for, was pretty good there, but definitely, became that elite player while with the Canucks. And now normally for these videos, I'd go through as every single NHL team proposing to trade the Canucks for JT Miller, and I would just kind of keep adding players on our side until they said yes. But for this one, I'm going to switch things up. I should mention too, guys, JT Miller here, you can see third most valued player on the Canucks. I'm also kind of surprised P's so much higher valued, only being 1 overall higher, but he has a high elite potential, so he can keep growing. Also, too, he's 6 years younger. I thought, the contract there, him making $3.6 million more, would play more of a factor, but I guess it didn't. I should mention to you guys in regards to the contract, JT Miller does have a full no-move clause right now in real life, but had to take that off in order to do this trade. Like I was saying, guys, for this video, we're actually not going to use proposed trade, and so I'm going to try something new here and do find trade. I didn't actually even realize you could do this until recently. I thought it was just your own players. You can actually go to any team you want, click on that player, and see what it would take to get them with your team. So we'll click on JT Miller here. We'll click on Find Trade Open Block. That's LB Xbox, L1 on PlayStation. And 3 trades. Okay, so the Canucks would be willing to trade him to us for Cutter Gauthier and Troy Terry. I feel like in real life, Canucks fans wouldn't mind that. Ducks, I mean, I don't know. Gauthier hasn't really impressed me too much so far. Zellweger, Vetrano, and a third, honestly, is super reasonable. And then Mintyukov, Trouba, and a third. So Trouba's kind of a cap dump. Mintyukov, though, is a stud. I think these are 3 very reasonable offers by the Canucks. Now, if I'm the Ducks and I want to make a trade here for JT Miller, I would definitely want to hold on to Troy Terry, my best forward. Also, Gauthier, one of my top prospects. I'm not sure who they value more between Mintyukov and Zellweger, but Vetrano's still pretty good. They just extended him. Trouba, you can kind of use as a cap dump, even though I know they traded for him. So maybe you move on from Mintyukov and get JT Miller. Ducks fans, let me know which of those 3 trades you like. And now next, you guys are going to try find trade with the Boston Bruins. I will say this is one team where we might just not be able to make a trade happen. As you can see, literally all of their top players either have a full no-move clause or a modified no-trade clause. So unless Brad Marchand's willing to get traded to the Canucks, and we can also, add on a couple of first-round picks or something, I don't really see this happening, but obviously we're going to give it a try here. Should mention too, guys, I totally forgot before, every single one of these trades will be on medium trade difficulty, as I think that'll give us the most realistic results. Moment of truth, find trade. Yeah, no trades found with the Boston Bruins. Now, just for fun here, guys, we're going to try trading Marchand, who actually had waived to go to Vancouver, which I find kind of funny. Also adding Brandon Carlo there and a first-round pick to get JT Miller. And the Canucks say yes. Wow. And now next, you guys are trying this with the Buffalo Sabres. I feel like they have a ton of really good assets and a lot of young ones too. I know some rumors about Dylan Cousins maybe going to the Red Wings. I would personally love that. So we'll see here what it would take for them to get JT Miller. Like I said, they should be able to make some trade work. 2 trades. Okay, Zach Benson and Kulich. So just going full prospects there. I mean, Buffalo doesn't probably make a ton of sense to make this trade because they're going younger, but value-wise, I don't think it's, too bad. Again, JT Miller had over 100 points last year. I think something a lot of people forget. And then, okay, this is a big one. If they want to get defense, Owen Power, former first overall pick, Ryan McLeod, and a 3rd rounder. I mean, if I'm the Sabres, wow, what do you do there? I don't think you can trade Power, right? I've heard Byram might get traded. So you probably do Benson and Kulich there for JT Miller. And now next up, guys, are the Calgary Flames. I actually am curious to see if they can make a trade happen. Anderson's probably going to have to be involved. Parekh as well, potentially. Kadri, Huberdeau there, both have no move. So I'm curious to see what the Vancouver Canucks can ask for JT Miller. No trade for the Flames either. I will say when I've done these videos in the past, that would only happen when a team just straight up didn't have the assets for, say, like a Connor McDavid. But this year, with there being no trade clauses, it's a lot easier for the teams not to have the asset. And now this is the reason why, guys. Anderson actually would not waive to go to the Canucks, at least in game. Out of curiosity, I'm curious, like Parekh, I don't know, Dustin Wolf, and a 1st round pick. You're telling me especially the Flames first there. That should be pretty high. Actually, I subbed out Wolf for Sharon Govich, so we need him there for the contract plus the salary. So you're telling me the Canucks wouldn't say yes to Parekh, a first, Sharon Govich? Honestly, probably even without the first, they might do this. Never mind. So I just tried the Devils' first round pick instead of ours. They still said no, but you're telling me Canucks would say no to Parekh, potential top 10 pick, and Sharon Govich for Miller? No, okay, there we go. The trade does happen. And now next up, guys, we have the Carolina Hurricanes. So this one I'm actually really interested to see the results of, as they're one of the teams heavily interested in JT Miller. I think it's like them, the Rangers, the Devils, and the Stars. So let's see if, the Vancouver Canucks can make a deal happen with the Hurricanes in-game. JT Miller, open trade block. 2 trades. Martin Necas, obviously, was in a bunch of trade rumors during last summer before a deal got done. Plus, they want Bradley Nadeau, top prospect with the Hurricanes, just play on the Canadian World Junior team. Or they would take Jacob Slavin, one of the best stay-at-home defensemen in the league, and Jack Roslovic. Interesting. I mean, if Necas still wants out, him and Nadeau for JT Miller, with his play, I know he's slowed down here, but I feel like the Canucks might do Necas for Miller 1-for-1, but if not, obviously they could throw in Nadeau there to be that sweetener. I should show you guys in-game here, Necas, 88 overall potential, then Bradley Nadeau, 76 medium top 6. So if I'm the Canes, would I do this? I don't know. It's definitely close, which means it probably is fair. So that'd be an interesting one. And now next year, guys, we got the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't see the Canucks asking for Connor Bedard. It'll probably be some combination of Levshunov, maybe Vlasic, Frank Nazar, maybe a first-round pick. Honestly, they might even say there's nothing other than Bedard, in which case trade's not going to happen. But who knows? Maybe they say, you know what? We would do Miller and Hughes if you give us Connor Bedard. I will try that, I guess, if we don't get anything here. We get one trade, and it is, Levshunov plus Teravainen for JT Miller. I've heard some rumblings Blackhawks aren't super impressed with Levshunov right now, so maybe they say, we need someone to come in here, be a star for a couple years, help Bedard get going, and do that trade. And now next up, guys, we got the Colorado Avalanche. This one's going to be pretty interesting, as most of their players are actually way more valued than JT Miller. Devin Tays would be kind of close, but he's got a no move. Nichushkin's got a no move. Unless they really love Casey Middlestat, then you can do like him in a first-round pick. I don't think we'll be getting JT Miller here with the Avalanche, but we'll give it a try. And yeah, no trades found. You know what? If Landeskog wasn't injured, he'd probably be like the perfect player to actually make this trade happen. But unfortunately, not the case. So I think we just have to skip on the Avs. And just for fun here, guys, we'll see what the Canucks would say to Casey Middlestat and 4 first-round picks for JT Miller. In real life, they say yes for sure. Even if you see the Avs being a dynasty, like 4 first-round picks, a ton of value. In-game, they aren't interested in those picks, which I think is why they already said no to the 3 first. Does the 4 first get it done with Middlestat? Wow. And now next year, guys, we're trying to make a trade with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Honestly, they should definitely be able to make something happen. They got tons of good young assets. Also, too, looking at Werenski here, definitely got to upgrade him now to a 91 just because he's having such a good season. So we'll see what they want here for JT Miller from the Columbus Blue Jackets. 2 trades. Lindstrom, of course, they just drafted. Marchenko and Chinikov, couple Russian wingers, both having good seasons as well. Or Kent Johnson, Marchenko, and a 7th. Wow, okay. I mean, I don't think Blue Jackets want to move on from Lindstrom, but maybe Johnson if they think they're close. Marchenko as well, though, in a 7th. CBGA fans, let me know which trade you prefer. I feel like probably most of them, though, would go with Johnson, Marchenko in a 7th. You're losing one less player there, and again, you're getting back a very good one in Miller. And now next year, guys, we're going to try to find trade with the Dallas Stars. Like I said, one team that's potentially linked to the Canucks. Tons of assets to work with, whether the Canucks want a younger player, a veteran player. We'll see what they ask for here in return for JT Miller. 2 trades. Stankoven and Harley. Okay, I was thinking it might be something like those two. Also, Wyatt Johnston, a 3rd, and Dadonov. So obviously, Johnston there definitely valued a little bit higher than Stankoven. I mean, this one's tough. Harley has not been as good this year as he was last year. And then, of course, Stankoven's solid. But a team like the Dallas Stars, they're competing right now. Miller's the better player right now. If they think they have the defensive depth, maybe you do this. Or if they think Stankoven's better than Johnston, then you only have to add Dadonov in a 3rd instead of Thomas Harley. So I guess it depends which young player you value more. But personally, I'm a Spitfire fan. I like Johnston. So I would do Stankoven and Harley. Stars fans, let me know. And so now next year, guys, is my team, the Detroit Red Wings. I feel like they got a ton of assets the Canucks would want. Raymond, Sider, Evanson, DeBrincat, if he would waive to go to Vancouver. Ideally, we wouldn't have to trade those guys. But you got to give something to get something. What do the Canucks want here from the Red Wings? No trades. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's giving me flashbacks to the McDavid video I made like 5 years ago where every single team was able to trade for Connor McDavid except the Detroit Red Wings. So you're telling me like Lucas Raymond and Nate Danielson wouldn't get JT Miller? Wow. Try throwing a 1st-round pick on that deal? And now the Canucks say yes. Okay, so there was a trade, but maybe if they feel like it's too much of a fleece, they don't even ask for it. And now next year, guys, we got the Edmonton Oilers. After McDavid and Draisaitl, maybe they can make some sort of trade happen around Evan Bouchard, as Hyman, Nuge, Nurse, Skinner all have no trades. So we'll see what the Canucks want here, guys, from the Edmonton Oilers. No trade. Now, just for fun here, gonna try and make a trade happen with Bouchard, who they want. Okay, we could do Bouchard and Arvidsson for JT Miller. They said no. We'll try throwing in a first-round pick. And there we go. Okay, so Bouchard, Arvidsson, a first. I mean, if the Oilers just didn't care at all about defense, maybe you make this trade. And now next up, guys, the defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Not a ton of cap space. A lot of their players have no move clauses, so this might be another one where we have no luck, but we'll give it a try. And yeah, no trades found. And now next year, guys, I'm offering the Canucks a trade. I'm surprised they didn't ask for it from us. Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Bennett, and a second. Bennett, again, is on an expiring deal, so if the Panthers don't see him coming back, you're basically just doing Verhaeghe and a second for JT Miller. And the Canucks say yes. I think that's a pretty good deal, honestly, for Florida. And now next up, guys, we got the LA Kings here trying to make a trade for JT Miller. I mean, they could do something around Quentin Byfield, Brant Clark. There's definitely some possibilities. Let's see if there's something the Canucks like. Okay, you got a couple trades. You got Adrian Kempe and Alex Laferriere, who's actually having a breakout season. And the other offer is Byfield and Laferriere. Okay, so I guess the Kings have to decide who do they value more. Byfield, after having a pretty good season last year, is definitely slowed down. Kempe is definitely the best scorer on the team. So I think you probably do Byfield there. And again, just trying to compete with McDavid, you got to make some tough decisions. And now next year, guys, we got the Minnesota Wild, who should have a ton of assets. Yeah, Boldy, Faber, Jaracek, potentially Eriksson X, Spurgeon. You also got Rossi there, Bouillon. All could potentially be involved in a trade for JT Miller. Let's see what the Canucks want. One trade, Matthew Boldy, a third in Merrill. Matthew Boldy is very good. He's a lot younger. JT Miller, I'd say, is better. Merrill in the third is really not that much extra to give up. So again, this definitely depends how much Minnesota Wild value Matthew Boldy. If I'm the Canucks and I want to, move Miller here to try and clean up that locker room, I think Matthew Boldy would be a great return. Minnesota Wild fans probably don't love that one, though. And now next year, guys, we'll look at the Montreal Canadiens. They have a ton of assets, none of them with no trade clauses. So I think for sure we're going to get a trade offer here, especially, too, I think Montreal has the cap space. We don't have to send anybody back if they didn't want to. And there's, yeah, wow, 5 offers, 1 for 1, Nick Suzuki. I don't think they trade the captain, but that's very interesting to see the value there. Lane Hudson, Kirby Dach. He's looking really good. I don't think Montreal does that one. Doc could be involved. Demidov's also crushing it in the KHL. They probably say no. Slafkovsky and Evans. I don't know how much they value Slafkovsky. He got that big contract last summer. This year, though, he's been not living up to it. Would they move on for JT Miller if they are, find themselves in a wildcard spot come trade deadline? And then Cole Caulfield, Jake Evans. Cole Caulfield, even if you think Miller's the better player, Caulfield's just so much younger. I'm probably going to seem crazy here in saying that I'd probably do the Slafkovsky deal of all of them. Montreal fans, as always, love hearing from you, but that's the one I would say yes to. And now next up, guys, we got the winners of the summer in the Nashville Predators. If you guys have not checked out Season 1 of my Nashville Predators franchise mode, definitely go and do that when this video is done. As you can see, all their top players have no move clauses, so unless Ryan O'Reilly and Joakim Kamel could get a trade to happen, or maybe if the Canucks think Demko is no longer playing hockey, they want UC Saros, I don't know. We'll give this a try. Yeah, no trades found. I'm not really shocked. So I came up with a trade here, guys, for JT Miller. Brady Shea, who's got a modified no trade, was actually willing to go to the Canucks. Ryan O'Reilly got retaining 1.5, so they're only paying him $3 million for the next 3 years. And the Vegas Golden Knights first-round pick. We're getting pretty lucky here in terms of the trade. Somehow the Vegas first has more value than the Preds, even though Vegas, arguably the best team of those 3 with the first-round pick. See what the Canucks say. I feel like they probably say yes to this. Yeah, okay. Honestly, Brady Shea, O'Reilly, and a Vegas first, which could be like 32 for JT Miller, I think would actually be a really good trade for the Preds. And now next year, guys, we got the Devils. As I mentioned before, this is a team that's heavily, involved in potential JT Miller trades. I think for them, you're probably looking at like Simon and Metz plus something else. What that something else is going to be, I'm not too sure. But maybe we'll find out right now in game. Okay, one trade. Wow, this is actually what a lot of people were talking about. Simon Nemeth, Dawson Mercer for JT Miller. I don't know, Devils fans, would you pull the trigger on this one? Definitely make your top 6 much, much more dangerous. Mercer's not really having the best year. Nemeth is in the AHL right now. If you think you have a chance at the Cup, do you pull the trigger? I just heard that, the Devils aren't looking to trade Nemeth, former 2nd overall pick, but this one is really interesting. We'll say yes in game, but yeah, Devils fans, would you do it? And our next year, guys, the New York Islanders. I don't really think they're in the market to make a JT Miller trade, but you never know. They got Bo Horvat. Maybe they go try to get another Canuck. Speaking of, let's see what Vancouver would ask for. No trades found. So just for fun here, guys, I'm going to try offering up Brock Nelson, Cole Eiserman, and a first for JT Miller. I think this would actually be a steal for the Islanders. And that's why the Canucks rejected it. They also rejected 2 firsts. Let's try 3. Wow. Now, I don't know why the Islanders would do this, but you could trade Dobson with Eiserman and Nelson to probably get Miller. And yeah, they say yes to that one, but definitely that's an overpay. And our next up, guys, is the team with the most rumors around it involving JT Miller, the New York Rangers. As I mentioned at the start of the video, they've offered Zibanejad 1-for-1. They've offered Hiddle a first and a prospect. Both of those trades, I think, are pretty big lowballs towards the Canucks. So we'll see here in game, what do the Canucks want to actually pull a trigger, sending JT Miller back to New York? One trade, Alexis Lafreniere, Andre Miller, and a 3rd-round pick. I mean, there's actually been some rumors about Miller potentially being on the block, a 3rd, and Alexis Lafreniere. I don't think the Rangers are giving up their former 1st overall pick, but very interesting. That's where the Canucks set the price at. So if I'm the Rangers, I say no, but maybe you counter back with Zibanejad, Miller, and like a top 10 protected first, something like that. So, in-game, yeah, I'm definitely not doing this one. And now next year, guys, we're going to see what it costs the Ottawa Senators to trade for JT Miller. I mean, Brady could chuck 1-for-1. If I'm the Canucks, that's what I ask for. Obviously, though, Brady does have more value. We'll take a look here and see in-game what would it cost the Sens. No trades found. Interesting. I'm just curious, like, hypothetically, you're telling me they wouldn't do, say, Jake Batherson, Nick Jensen, and Ottawa 1st-round pick, which they actually might not have. That's besides the point. Wow, they actually would not. We'll try 2 1st-round picks. Can't use the 2026 because either that or the 2025 will be forfeited. Now they say yes. I mean, Batherson, Jensen, 2 firsts. If they're late firsts, it's not terrible. There's definitely been more lopsided trades so far. And now next year, guys, are trying to make a trade with the Philadelphia Flyers. The good thing with them is the fact that they have a ton of cap space, so it should make a deal easier. If I'm the Canucks, probably going to be asking for Travis Konechny, which I think would be kind of fair 1-for-1. JT Miller's a better player, but Konechny is younger. So let's see here. What do the Canucks want? No trades found again. So like I was saying, guys, let's see if they would do Konechny for Miller 1-for-1. Trades rejected. Yeah, Miller is the better player. Obviously, Canucks are competing, so they probably don't care about Konechny being younger. What if we threw in, like, Tyson Forster here to kind of sweeten the deal? Still no. And look at the Oilers' 1st-round pick. This one should be a late first. And there they go. Okay, I mean, Flyers fans, let me know. You probably wouldn't want to do this. And now next year, guys, got the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not really sure where trading for JT Miller would kind of fit into Kyle Dubas' plans, especially when Sid, Carlson, Malkin there all have NMCs. It's going to cost like a Rucker McGroarty plus a 1st-round pick. Hopefully, you know, their 1st-round pick is valuable enough they can actually make that trade happen here for Miller. And unfortunately, no. So we're going to try trading McGroarty here, guys, with the Pittsburgh 1st-round pick, which is pretty valuable. And Ryan Graves, he's basically just there for salary. And the Canucks reject that, even though the value is actually way on our side. So I tried to add a 2nd-round pick. They still said no, but quite close. So I think a 7th gets it done. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. McGroarty, 1st, Graves, 2nd, and a 7th. If Pittsburgh is actually in a playoff spot, I don't hate this trade at all for them. Now, next year, guys, got the San Jose Sharks, another team with a ton of cap space. Maybe one of the Wills, Will Smith, Will Eklund. The Canucks want going back the other way in exchange for JT Miller. We'll take a look here. Oh, 2 trades found. I was right. Okay, so they want Will Eklund, Mikael Granlund, and Chmelevski. Obviously, Granlund expiring contract, so they get him now and then Eklund for the future. And then the other trade's Will Smith and Granlund. Okay, so if I'm the Sharks, I'm probably more likely to trade Eklund, I think, than Smith, even if I have to add, you know, another prospect there. And like I said, the Canucks, they get Granlund now, Eklund for the future. Sharks fans probably don't want to do this. Canucks fans, I think, definitely would be interested in taking back Granlund, especially if they can re-sign him, and then also having Will Smith. And now next year, guys, we got the Seattle Kraken. I feel like there's probably a trade to be had here between Beniers, Wright, Catton. The Canucks should be, you know, willing to move Miller for one of those 3. We'll take a look here. 2 trades. Okay, so yeah, Matty Beniers and Riker Evans. I feel like Matty Beniers, I mean, Miller is a better player, even though Beniers is younger. Like, it's always so tough trading clearly the better player, but when he's got, like, you know, a decade on the other player, how do you even those values? And then the other trade here, Shane Wright, Oliver Bjorkstrand. I like Shane Wright. Matty Beniers is definitely more accomplished, more proven. Bjorkstrand is better than Evans, but Evans is a solid young defenseman. If I'm the Kraken, a little higher up in the standings this year, say only like a couple points out, I'd probably pull the trigger on this deal. I think Miller is that much of an improvement over Bjorkstrand. And then again, Shane Wright, he's a solid young player, but if you think you have the chance to win right now, it's definitely worth it to get Miller. And now next you guys were trying to make a trade, the St. Louis Blues. As you can see, they actually don't have a ton of players with value, so I feel like the Canucks are going to ask for Robert Thomas, and if I'm the Blues, I'm definitely not giving him up for JT Miller. I think close to being as good, but obviously a lot younger. And yeah, no trades found. But just for fun here, guys, we're going to see what it would cost. I tried offering Robert Thomas for Miller 1-for-1, and they said to me the value just a touch. I offered like a 7th. They then said there was salary reasons for saying no. So I'm retaining $125K. So it's equal salary, $8 million for $8 million, plus a 4th round pick. And there they go. Okay, they're saying yes now. So Robert Thomas, $125K retained is essentially nothing, and a 4th for JT Miller. I don't think it really fits the Blues kind of window, but I think the Canucks fans would definitely love that trade. And now next year, guys, we're going to try and make a trade happen with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov, of course, way more value than Miller. Same with Point, plus he got no move clause. Gensel has one as well. Looking like it'll cost Hagel plus some extras to get JT Miller. Also, too, if you guys forget, JT Miller actually played a couple seasons, I think a season and a half to be exact, with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And he played pretty good there, point per game when he first went over. Then he had 47 and 75 before going to the Canucks, where he definitely, had the best years of his career. Now, is there a trade that could send Miller back to Tampa? There's one. Wow, Brandon Hagel, 1-for-1. I think this is our first 1-for-1 trade offer. That is crazy. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I think Miller is a bit better of a player. Hagel's better 5v5. Hagel's younger, a little bit of a cheaper contract. I'd love to hear from the Lightning fans. Would you trade Hagel to bring Miller back? Canucks fans, would Hagel be enough of a return for you to be happy with this trade? And now next up here, guys, we got the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not exactly sure how they could make a move for Miller. I mean, yeah, look at that. The top 6 guys all have no trades. I think this is going to be another team where, honestly, it might just be impossible to trade for Miller because, yeah, they all have no move clauses. But, I don't know, maybe something. Yeah, no trades found. But just for fun here, guys, gonna make the Canucks the best offer I can as the Leafs. So Matthew Knies instead of Domi, as Domi actually wouldn't waive to go to Vancouver. Ekman Larson for some salary. 3 first-round picks. They already said no to 2. And they still say no to 3. Just a bit low, but unfortunately, we cannot add a 6th asset. In real life, though, I guess you could add, a 6th-round pick, and Canucks would say yes. And now next year, guys, we got the Utah Hockey Club. I think this trade's definitely going to include one of Cooley, Gunther, or Iginla. We'll see which one, the Canucks want the most. Luckily, Utah's got like 20 mil cap space, so it should be pretty easy here to make the trade for Miller. One trade, Cooley and Kesselring. Wow, they're saying Logan Cooley or bust. Iginla's not enough. Neither is Dylan Gunther. Dang, I mean, Utah, I don't think would be willing to move on from Cooley right now, but in terms of just pure value, I actually don't think that's too bad of a trade offer. And on next year, guys, we got the Vegas Golden Knights. I didn't even realize, oh my goodness, kind of like Boston, so many clauses. It's a bit more of a rainbow, though, not just all no move clauses. You got the orange no trade for Hanifin. It's going to be tough. We'll see if there is something that can maybe make sense here for JT Miller. Oh, one trade, Shea Theodore, returning to his home province of British Columbia for JT Miller. I don't think Vegas does this. Yeah, I don't think they would, but honestly, they're crazy. And the Canucks probably would do this. I think Shea Theodore is really good. So interesting trade, another 1-for-1. And now next year, guys, we got the Washington Capitals. Looking at the players here, I don't know if they'll be able to make a trade happen with Miller. Maybe something around Dylan Strome, though. Okay, and I was right. Dylan Strome, Jacob Chychrun, and a 4th-round pick. That is definitely a lot to give up there for the Capitals, but they're playing really well right now. So is Strome. Obviously, though, JT Miller is the better player. And they think they have the defensive depth to make up for losing Chychrun, or maybe they even think he's going to walk this summer as a free agent. They pull the trigger here and make that trade happen. And now finally here, guys, we got the Winnipeg Jets. We'll see what it costs for them to get JT Miller. Kyle Connor there, way too valuable. Morrissey, Scheifele, no moves. Maybe Ehlers, maybe Perfetti. I mean, I guess they could always ask for Connor Hellebuck. I don't know if they do that, though, as they have Thatcher Demko. Let's take a look here. Yeah, no trades found. So just for fun here, guys, going to try offering up Cole Perfetti, Gabe Velarde, and 2 first-round picks for JT Miller. And the Canucks say no. We're going to add a 3rd first-rounder there for good measure. And they still say no. Honestly, I don't think we make a trade for him then, as I tried, and every single player that has a modified no trade does not want to go to Vancouver. Even Kyle Connor, who has more value than Miller, is also saying no. So unfortunately, the final team here in the Winnipeg Jets cannot make a deal, but I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was a lot of fun seeing all the hypothetical trades. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think about your team's trade, or if they couldn't make a trade like the Jets, what would you be willing to offer for JT Miller? If you guys enjoyed this one, leave that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.